What's happening, everyone? Today is another wonderful day in Hexaco stuff. I come from a tech background too, professionally, and it's like, whoa, there's a lot to the validator. Actually set it up on your own, understand all the parts, and actually understand what they do. And it's a lot. So very interesting stuff. And I've got a ton of notes and a ton of nuance about the process and that I want to share with you all. I'll go through a little bit of I'll bring it up on the website as well. But first, let me say out to the chat. Welcome, welcome. No name pleb. I said when validator tutorials start coming up, YouTube, we are close. Yeah, I've got it. Let me know if you want me to do my rant on how close we are. I had in my head, I had this like rant I was going to do if prompted. So I'm sure we'll get to it. Hex Pulse win would be really great if you do a video tutorial start to finish. My computer's on the way, definitely intimidating. Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to do a start to finish, but I'm sure probably David Feeder will. I mean, he's already got like a few of the short ones right now. And Gamma has a bunch of like long form content. He'll probably do some more short form as well. And on his Substack, it's literally the instructions of how to get started. I should find that and put it up here because they were super helpful to me as well lately. So I don't know if I will do it, but someone will definitely do it. I'll probably do some long form content and do a lot of the interviews, the AMAs, the streams. But we got a lot of validators out there that can help do that. Godfather J6, welcome. Good to see you. T-Bird, I hope not to disappoint. I think it should be good. David Feeder's in the house. What's up, sir? He may or may not be on the show Friday. I haven't announced it yet, along with maybe someone else that he doesn't even know about yet. So we'll see. I'm kind of waiting around to see if those dominoes, where the dominoes fall. We'll see. I think he'll be excited though too. Yeah, the man himself. You've been doing great work, man. So super shout out to Mr. Feeder. He's back, baby. He's back. We're excited to have him back as well. Thanks, Russell. You guys put your hands up in the air on these wild dips. Yeah, when it went to 9 cents, with that huge dump happened, it went to 9 cents. I was like, I tweeted. I said, thank you. I don't think I'm going to regret saying that. I don't think so. Can't wait. Yeah, man. It's happening. I'll go through chat just a little bit more, and then I'll get into it, start sharing my screen and stuff. Let's see. Can you give us a realistic expectation of the process BRS? Yeah, welcome back, BRS, by the way. Yeah, as I mentioned, I think it's going to get much easier. It's kind of like, we're at the ground level of how this stuff works right now, and how it's even new to the A2.0 people, right? It's new to the Ethereum people, and we forked E2.0, so the process isn't shaken out in a lot of ways. It's not easy. I'm going to say that. I think, but the good news is, once we have plug and play validators, maybe Alex is building those, maybe those come out sometime this year or next. Once we have, I was working on some scripts myself to help automate some of this. I actually want David to look at it at some point if I decide to go that direction. And I don't know if he has some of that stuff too, but I was trying to automate a lot of it to like just give somebody a script and say, here, I've already plugged in the stuff. Here's everything it does. Here's what it doesn't do. You have to do manually. It'll set up, a lot of the software part of it and a lot of the startup services and all that stuff. So I kind of have something that I may or may not share. We'll see how valuable it is, but it's not easy right now. I'll say that. Being a validator right now, again, coming from a tech background, I was surprised. I was like, whoa, this is, anyone can like run commands and do this stuff and like, oh, you're going to get lost here and there. But to do it by yourself and do it from the ground up and just go off of documentation and stuff floating around, it's a lot of work to figure out. And then what if something goes wrong? You don't really understand what went wrong either. So it will be easier later, but it's a little advanced right now. But hopefully we'll get some automation, some community built stuff coming out. Maybe I'll be a part of that. Should be a lot easier later. Proof of weight. Yeah, I wasn't too late today. I was like 30 minutes late Friday. That was very unusual, but what's up, Compassion? Good to see you, man. Hope to see you in real life as well soon. Steve D, saw you the other night. Good to see you again, man. Good to see you. I do like my intro. Credit to Markable from our community. Makes the fire intros. He made Access's intro and a whole bunch of other ones too. What is your best guess? How many days till launch? All right, I said it. You're gonna get me into the rant. Okay. It's funny. I was thinking about this. There's no benefit in me not telling you that it's going to launch at any time, right? Me tweeting, like I tweeted the other day, you might have saw it, you might not have, but it was like, Richard did the final warning shot deal, and I'm still thinking, again, from dev perspective, I have devish background, and I know how a lot of this stuff works, and I don't know how in the world we'd launch anytime soon. It seems like I don't even know if the thing's still finished indexing. Did the Block Explorer finish indexing yet? Like, people are like, oh, I don't think it's going to launch tomorrow if we haven't even indexed all the stuff yet. So to me, more time the better. We've been waiting 20, 22, 23, 24 months. And I attached that tweet too. If you want to calm down, go watch the Hex Rewind 2022. And I did the timestamp in the tweet. Start watching for the 2 minutes of Richard giving bad time estimates. And you just all of a sudden, you think today he's going to give good time estimates. He just all of a sudden oh yeah, he figured it out now. There's no more bugs. There's absolutely no more things that could possibly stop or slow things down. So I am bullish as heck on PulseChain, but I'm not bullish it's going to come out this week. And that's the thing. Again, there's no benefit in me in saying that. There's no benefit in me saying it. The benefit, like, nobody gets unfollowed for saying PulseChain can come out any day now. But if you see somebody being like, oh, it could be a couple months, you're gonna be like, you ruined my day, or I don't know. It's funny. I don't do everything in my benefit. I guess I don't believe it. I don't believe it's gonna come out, within a few days or so. I think it'll be longer. I hope I'm wrong. Actually, you know what? I don't know if I hope I'm wrong, because if we do launch within a week or so, I don't feel like it's been tested enough. I don't think that's enough time. I'm just some guy on the internet, but I don't think that's enough time personally. I think I would like more projects to test it, more air devs to test it, more of these features to be built out. I'd rather the MVP that ships mainnet has all the stuff. PulseX is finished, all the little things like that, well tested. I don't want any downtime. I don't want any upgrades or stuff's not working. So again, no benefit in me saying that, but I'm not going to tell you something I don't feel. It doesn't feel right that it would launch tomorrow. That's what I'm trying to say. So, great question. What's up, Almighty Hexkin? Good to see you. Good to see you. How come all the features on V2B are not working on V3? Well, it was a completely different deal. They reused, a lot of, some of the stuff, but it's a way different on the back end. So if stuff isn't working, I would say, there we go. We need some more time to get it implemented and tested and all that stuff. Simba, usually you're trolling, but I'm okay with this one. Bahrain, what would you do? Liquid Hex right now, missacrifice PulseChain PulseX. Well, if you hold Liquid Hex, you're going to get a copy, and it could be worth not nothing. I have no idea. So there's that part. Stake and chill guy. Yeah. It's, again, not everybody needs to be a validator. People are going to try and quit. People are going to try and get frustrated. People are going to try and succeed. So it's a beautiful thing. 2 more years. I wouldn't go that far. I wouldn't go that far. May 5th. That sounds reasonable to me. Anyways, what's a good VPN? If you were a crypto sloth, I would tell you you're trolling me right now, but you're not. So I'm assuming it's not one of sloth's troll accounts. But go type in RHMax VPN and watch a couple of clips that I've talked about VPNs. I will say, did I give a recommendation of one? I've used them before when I'm traveling and stuff, but I don't use them at home, long story short. So just go watch a couple of my clips. I might have mentioned some nuance that could be important for you in there. Rick and 305, don't forget they've been testing in private. Yeah. So I mentioned this the other day. So before the public V3 testnet was out, there was a private V3 testnet, right? Like, that's biologically they had to be working on something that was the private one. So what are they working on now? They're probably, they're pushing stuff to V3, that repo and that code base and that deployment. But I imagine they're working on the private mainnet right now, right? So they may call it DevNet, they may call it different things, but there's a private thing that we don't have access to right now. Pretty sure that they're getting together, trying to get that launch going. So if you had any questions, put them in the chat. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Put it well. Put it well. Wants to be flawless. Flawless ain't fast. That's a good quote for you. There you go. We'll see if, are you going to walk us through? No, I'm not, but Gamma, I will leave you a link to Gamma going through all of that stuff. So I'm not going to walk through how to set up Go Pulse in the Lighthouse, although I just did that like 3 days ago. Been doing it for the last 3 days. But he's got some instructions on the, I'll open up the portal. Let me just open that up. If you have questions, put them in the chat. I'll get to them when I see them. But I'll share the link to Gamma's deal, his Substack, and he has a lot of cool stuff on there. So this is staking Launchpad. So here, there's almost all the information you need in order to get started to be a validator is here. So I'm gonna drop this in the chat so you guys can check it out. So literally, this is the Launchpad. You just click this, become a validator. You start going through all this. It's basically just information. It teaches you what you need to know, what to expect. Proof of stake tells you what all that stuff means. Deposit, 32 million per validator. So if you haven't heard, you can't run more than one validator. So you just need 32 million Pulse or T-Pulse to run the validator, to run each validator on your single server. So some people say you can run 100. I'll probably be running, a few myself. More than one. I'll be running more than one on testnet. But you got to have enough T-Pulse, right? So unless you're a whale and you sacked a whole bunch, you're not going to have enough T-Pulse to do 100 validators, unless you're a whale, for example. So, but you may have enough to run more than one. And the more you run, the more you can earn. All that stuff should be why would you do otherwise? So anyways, you go through all this stuff and teach you how, you got to know how to use a terminal. There's a lot of, you got to be technical to do this stuff. You really do. Until we have a, plug and play solution or just some setup scripts you can download and throw in there. You got to know a little bit about computers, terminal, Linux. You have to know Linux. I don't know why. I mean, every server pretty much runs on Linux. There's some Windows stuff. There's basically no Mac stuff, but I wouldn't convince yourself you're going to run it on Windows and be like, oh, no Windows, I'll set it up on Windows. All the guides are going to be for Linux. All the tutorials are going to be for Linux, and just learn Linux if you're planning on doing this. It's a good skill to have anyways. It's going to be around for a long time. So let me find Gamma stuff because it's really good. Gamma DevOps. I don't know if you can access all of it publicly if you need a membership to do some of it, but let me throw this in here. Let's see, let me click on this one. Yeah, no, here we go. You don't even need to be signed in. You don't even need to do the membership. You can to support them, of course. But yeah, this is pretty much it's the simplest, most to the point. It doesn't explain a lot of stuff. This is just like, I know he probably wanted to get the instructions out for people who already know a little bit about it, start using it. So I'll put this in here. So these are most of the commands and stuff you need to do most of everything. Again, this is not going to explain what all this stuff means. If you have an error, you're probably going to be able to figure it out. You have to watch some of his other videos and stuff too, but he's got a lot of great stuff. So highly recommend checking this one out if you're going to set up a validator. It's the most complete set of commands. Again, he's explained what all this stuff means in the 20 other videos he's made in the last few weeks. But if you just want the commands to do stuff, if you're like, oh, I don't know how to do this. I read a guide, but my command's different or something. Yeah, and some little tricks and stuff, different tricky commands. Very good stuff. Shout out to Gamma DevOps for that, for sure. David, what's up, man? Do you happen to have the commands run everything in Docker? Man, I haven't been using Docker for any of the clients. So I don't. I'm trying to see if Gamma has any. A lot of these would be similar, and then you just do the Docker flags. So if you used Docker before, I wonder who would. me just type in Geth Docker. A lot of them should be pretty reusable. From 2019, let's do something 2020, let's see, 2023, if anything new. URL, guest, this will give me GitHub stuff. A lot of people write GitHub stuff. Let's do just GitHub. I would search for different Gits and GitHub stuff. But yeah, sorry, man, off the top of my head, I don't have anything for Docker. I just haven't been setting up using containers. I know some people are doing that in the Pulse Dev room. By the way, if anyone's not anyone wants to be a validator, you should join on Telegram if you like to in Telegram. The channel Pulse Dev, PLS Dev. I think that's it. And there's a lot of people talking about that, Docker and otherwise too. And I'll say stuff every once in a while. Yeah, I don't see anything. Let's see, 2022 maybe. Cool. Thanks, Google. You want to just like let me do the stream here? No, I gotta do the motorcycle. Thank you so much for that. You've prevented so much. Yeah, I would search for stuff like this. Geth Docker flags. Oh, that's for the actual image. So I imagine maybe the Pulse devs will release containers and documentation eventually. Probably maybe not for testnet, but for mainnet. Sounds like something they would do. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything off the top of my head, but good question. Good question. But Gamma would probably know. He would know. We could think Docker. Yeah, I think we could just make our own container, honestly. I don't make a lot of containers. I have before, but I haven't made them lately. But I'm pretty sure we could just make one. But then, and I have my reservation about running in a container too. The security side of me says, okay, extra layer of isolation, assuming you don't screw up and do like a privileged container and all the vulnerabilities can go with that. I know all about that stuff too. Containers can be great for isolation and they cannot be. But I don't know. Like for me, a server, because you're going to need to dedicate a certain amount of memory and stuff to them. So to me, it just seems like you're going to need a beefier server to run these in a container. And you're going to need to do other plumbing to get them to talk to each other. So it sounds like more work on that side. However, there is an isolation aspect. If somebody compromises the client, they only have access to the container. They have to get a container breakout. They can get to the host. So it's better for security, but there's a lot more plumbing involved. So we could just make our own custom container. Anybody can make it, publish it on Docker Hub and stuff. Or like you said, fork ETH Docker, replace some of the Pulse ETH stuff with PulseChain. If it was just repos and stuff, that might not be too bad. Yeah, ETH Education, ETH Docker. Let me check that out real quick. I haven't seen this. Well, they have a lot. They even have Grafana and stuff on there. Okay. I don't know. That could be a project. Interesting. I wonder if it's literally just, can we just replace when it pulls the stuff down, replace it with the PulseChain stuff. So it still sounds like a mainnet thing. I feel like a lot of these things are going to be more useful for mainnet, assuming it's not 2 years away, than the testnet. But no, can't wait to talk about it with you, man. Can't wait to talk about it. Maybe we'll both have some updates the next few days. The devs released the containers, but flags are killing me. Huh. Yeah, dependency. I mean, like I said, there's some pros and cons to using Docker for sure. Tiger, that was a great stream. Actually, dropping the alpha. Yeah, that was fun. Everyone's like, "Stop him, interrupt him. He won't mind." I'm like, "Nah, I don't want to do that." I don't want to interrupt anyone, but especially Axis is going down on something. I don't want to interrupt that. He's a smart guy. I wanted to get his message out. Shows 1,400 validators, 2 up from yesterday. Where does it say? Let's see. Is that on the Beacon Explorer? Does it have those stats? trying to think what the stats website is. I haven't looked too much at all the other sites. Wallet addresses. See, we haven't even finished indexing yet. You guys are like, not you guys. I don't want to point. I'm not picking on chat right now. I'm just saying there's a lot of people who are like anytime. And I'm like, it's not even launched. It's not even synced yet. But what do I know, right? What do I know? I'm not saying my opinion is any more valid than anyone else's. It's just what I think. Is it? I can't remember the URLs. I need to like go back and look at. Is it Explorer? Let's see. Scan. I think it's Scan. Or is that what I was just at? No, that's what I was just at. Do I know we can look at stats. I can't remember. Can't remember the URL. There's also the faucet if anyone hasn't seen it. I haven't tried it, but I believe K4K did a video and mentioned it too. So you can get 10 PLS. If you have an Ethereum account that didn't have any, or you just want to create a new account, you can get some and get some T-Pulse to do some transactions and stuff. And scroll down for a minute. Yeah, I don't know, dude. It could be, or it could just be. I don't know. That would definitely be easier for the Pulse devs, right? Because they know what they changed. But if it's just some names and some, you know what? Why are we still using Geth? Why isn't it called GPLS? I keep wondering that. I keep we forked. We have Go Pulse now, but it still says Geth. On mainnet, is it going to be GPulse? It just seems like that should change. But am I self-taught? That's a good question. Yes, but I also work professionally, where I'm not a professional dev, but I code as part of my job. Do security stuff, and you have to write code as part of that. But I was self-taught, so yes, but I have a job that's stamped. My self-taught was good enough to get a job and stuff, not just self-taught and not knocking anyone who is. But anyways, what's up, Ben? Good to see you, man. We'll be doing another security AMA together. CCNA, nice, man. That's Cisco, right? That's a Cisco certification. I think I might have almost went for that one time. It's called GPulse as an app. All the commands are Geth. I know. Geth feels good when I'm doing it, but also it's called Go Pulse. It's not called Go Ethereum anymore. So maybe mainnet will change. I don't know. It's not a big deal. I just think about it sometimes. By the way, David, if you want to hop on, you're totally welcome. Just let me know if you want to stream now. We can still stream Friday too. But if you want to stay in the chat, I don't want to mess up your chat time either. Just saying. If you feel like it, I can totally send you a link. No worries. So what can I go over? What do you guys want to know? Because you haven't really asked any questions about validating except David on the Docker stuff and how hard it is. But I have a Google Doc in front of me and I have a ton of notes and I'm trying to think of maybe I can go through this and then that'll lead it on the different parts and I can talk about my notes. So once you go through all this, you should read it all. It lets you know, try cheating the system, you get slashed, all that stuff. And then, managing keys, that's a whole other thing too. You need to create the keys and then import them, and do it on a server that's not the server you're running, that whole thing. I have a bunch of tricky commands and stuff to help you transfer it. If you want to spin up another VM, for example, a disposable one. See, I use EC2 for everything too. That's what's going to be different. I know David, he's building his own. A lot of people want to build their own, run it from home with their own hardware. I just don't want to do that. I prefer EC2 to each their own. Totally valid ways of doing it. Of course, I'm probably going to pay a little bit extra because I'm renting a server instead of hosting one at home. But I don't know. I just don't want to use my bandwidth, and it doesn't use that much bandwidth, but I don't know. I just don't. I prefer to, do EC2 to do cloud hosting for some of this, for stuff like this, because I can manage the security better over there. If something happens, it doesn't affect my home setup, all that stuff. So I like that aspect of it too. I can spin VMs up and down easily. It's really good for management doing it in the cloud. I mean, that's what Richard's spinning up EC2. I'm pretty sure all this stuff's running on EC2. Pretty sure I could probably I did a video one time of how to figure that out, if it's running on EC2 or not. Can't remember. Anyways, so that's going to be different when you set it up at home. You're going to have to, forward your own ports on the firewall, open stuff up. And then that's going to be different than in the cloud, where there's things called security groups, and that's your firewall, and you have to allow certain ports for the peers to talk to each other and for the clients to work and all that stuff. So there's a little bit of differences between running at a home, building your own hardware, that side of it, versus spinning up a M2X large, or I forget, actually, not that it's that important, but I have all notes on like everything on how to do like a minimal cloud one. Let's see, let me go down to cloud. I'm definitely going to publish a blog at some point and put all this stuff in it, because I have like soup to nuts on how to register an AWS account, create an IAM user, do the policies, turn on the MFA for the user, don't use your root account, create a new virtual machine I saw David was also using Ubuntu 22.04. That's the latest stable long-term support one. And then instance type, I started using M5 4X large, which is 16 vCPUs and 64 gigs of RAM. You could also use a M5 2X large, which is 8 virtual CPUs and 32 gigs of RAM. That would probably work too, but I just didn't want to start validating and then stuff get really slow, and I don't know. I just didn't want to take a chance. So I upgraded. It's going to cost a little bit more per month, but yeah, how much does it cost per month? I'm not sure yet. I think it'll be anywhere from $200 or $300 to $400, $500, $600, depending on the instance type you rent if you're doing the cloud. So my green screen just fell down. Cool. I wasn't using it right now anyways. You can also see on the Ethereum testnet, my notes say that I used the M5X large, which is 4 vCPUs and 16 gigs of RAM. So, but I didn't, that was just for testing, and I really didn't want to go on PulseChain and do that. So then you create a key pair, and that key pair lets you log in remotely over SSH. You configure the firewall, forward the ports. There's specific ones you need to forward. Storage, I use 2 terabytes of disk, and you could be maybe close to 1500 or whatever. I think 2 terabytes, give yourself a little bit of breathing room. Maybe it only takes 1 to 1.5 terabytes, but I think breathing room's good. And then you launch the instance, and then you connect to it over SSH, and then the rest of it is starting to run the commands to set everything up. So I'll pause there for a sec. That's your quick cloud. Maybe I feel like I should paste that. Yeah, let me paste that. See, I have all these notes, but let me just create a quick Google Doc, and then I'll paste it in. Let's see. And yeah, keep putting your questions in chat, and I'll look at it in a second. PulseChain cloud setup. Let's do PulseChain testnet cloud setup. And I will share. I will make it public. Cool. So now, zoom, zoom, zoom. All right, is that better? Yeah, I didn't even think about that till I got through it. But I'll leave it on the screen, and you guys can ask. I'll give a few minutes so you guys ask. This won't be the last AMA, by the way. So I'll go through some parts. So here's the doc. I dropped in the chat. Click on it, and oh, that's a good idea. Spec page for the model. Yeah, let me see. if I just Google search for it, you'll be able to see, it should pull up a table. Let's see. So this is one of the options. So the M5 instance. So there's different ones, and let's see what I was using. So Ethereum, I think you might be able to use 16 gigs of RAM. I wouldn't chance it. I just feel like I don't want to have any like problems. So I'm just going to pay a little bit more and just have more RAM and not run into anything in case validating gets hyper intensive over there. So M5X large, you start with that as just for testing. M5X large. Yeah. And then 2X large is what you could probably use. I think I was going to use that. And then I was like, just in case, let me do 64. But either one of these. So M5 2X large or M5 4X large. Those are the instance types. So your instance type just is it's a way of describing the specs for the server you're going to rent. So how many virtual CPUs it has, how much memory it has, the different type of storage it supports, and then bandwidth is also sort of important too. That's so up to 10. You're guaranteed 10 with once you get up to 8x and stuff, and then the escalating for these two. So these two is what I would, 2x large and 4x large is what I would say for PulseChain validators from my limited experience. Yeah, 24. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I love to nerd out. I built my own computers for years before. I'm just like, I'll just rent them sometimes. Yes, sir. You guys better be back on Friday because Mr. Feeder is coming online. Let's see, scrolling up. Get Jenkins in here. He's itching to do a TA. Connect us on Twitter. I think I tried to reach out to him a while back, but I didn't hear anything. So I'm sure he's a busy guy. But yeah, tag us on Twitter and just be like, hey, you should stream with RH Maximalist. And he'll either answer, I'll like it, because yeah, that'd be cool. And he'll either answer or he won't, or he'll go on living his life because we all got busy stuff. I don't expect replies from anyone. Totally fine. I got lots of cool stuff to do here too. So anyways, so do you, Don Chi, so do you recommend your own build or server? Okay, so when you say build, I'm thinking of like an image of a server, but that's not what you're talking about. You're talking about your own build as in build your own computer. So to each their own. I don't really recommend one or another, but for me, what I value is like not having to manage hardware these days because I have enough hardware that I manage. I don't really want another server in my house, so I rent one. I use EC2, AWS EC2 instances. I use S3 for storage when I need it. As long as it's nothing sensitive. If it's top secret and stuff, don't put it in the cloud. But if you and you got to handle your own security. They do some stuff. They'll help you a little bit, but you got to know, I don't know. I like, it's kind of like, when you save time, pay people to do stuff if you can afford it, that kind of thing. And it's like, I don't really get a lot of joy out of building my own servers these days. So I rent them. I like renting them. So there's no right answer, but for me, I prefer renting cloud services. Bobby Hexelrod, he would be on 4 p.m. Pacific. I think that's the time we talked about. 5 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern. Server using, yeah, I think I answered that. Let's see, Fast Abdul. So validators get paid. People choose the validator they use. So I can use. I mean, you got the first part sort of right, but yeah, you don't. Validators get used when they're working properly. It's a race. It's a race to solve puzzles and stuff, right? Generally, blockchains that way. Let's see. We'll be doing videos setting this up. Probably not. Like I said, I think I'm gonna let David and Gamma do all the tutorials that they want to do. I feel like they've done enough content, and I imagine they're going to continue doing some content. And I'm just going to be the AMA interview nuance guy. I'll be that guy. How about that? I don't really do pre-recorded videos either, unless it's like, I did do a Christmas shout out last year because what's his name? DJ Cryptomatic asked me to. But in general, yeah, I don't really do pre-recorded demo videos. I kind of just, hey, if people come on, they want to do a demo, awesome. I'll do a demo sometimes, but I don't know. I feel a little bit, I don't really like sharing. We got people looking at this. There we go. I don't really like sharing my own server screen demo stuff either, because security, privacy, right? So, but no fear, I am actually doing this stuff. Otherwise, I could not possibly come up with all this content that you've only seen like 5% of. That I'll create some more docs. Yeah, maybe I'll do some more. I'll do like an AMA. Again, this won't be the only AMA. I probably won't cover everything tonight, but this is one of the docs for what I found successful. So if you want to figure out what to do with AWS, there you go. And if anyone have any questions on any of this stuff that I've explained here, feel free, because I wrote it, so I can talk about it. Let's see, what did I cross this out? Oh yeah, I was going to use Ubuntu 2004, and I'm sure it works fine too. But you kind of want to use what everyone else is using when everyone else is doing tutorials and stuff. Who knows what they're talking about, and you have access to talking to them. You should probably use what they're using, because so you're all talking the same language and packages. And not that there's a huge difference, but it's makes it easier than trying to like figure out stupid problems that may come up between versions. So yeah, let me know if you have any questions on that, and I will, while we're here, like I said, Gammas is the best for getting it set up on not, it doesn't have Docker instructions, I don't see. But as far as the commands and stuff, Gamma's got pretty much everything to get started here. There's some other, if you want to, because I'm working on, I haven't finished setting mine up as services. So these are just running them as just apps to get them started, to get them synced and stuff like that. But to make things more reliable and stable, and again, I'm sure Gamma's talked about this too, you're probably going to want to run them as a service. And let me see if I can find, I have a ton of references. Let me see if I can pull up a reference. Yeah, maybe I should drop those links. I will drop those links in a chat too. I got a crap ton of stuff that helped me set up things. Well, I'll drop them in. I'll put them in the same doc, because I probably don't need like another whole other doc. But I'll put them in this one. General stuff I came across to help understand this stuff. Links and references. So just added this to the doc. So these are just a bunch of different stuff I came across to help me understand, because a concept I just didn't understand. I was like, oh, why is this not working? And you got to go spend hours and hours and hours figuring it out. So might as well share it, because a lot of these are like actually hard to come across. And actually, I started with Aragon and what's the other client? I forgot its name now. Aragon Lighthouse. Geez. Look at my notes. Prism, Aragon Lighthouse, Prism, and what's the other one? Somebody tell me. Chat, come on, wake up. I'm scrolling. Aragon. Geth. Oh yeah, Geth, Aragon, Prism, and whatever the fuck the other one is. I started with the other two, and now I'm using Lighthouse and Geth. So, did you run Aragon by disabling archive mode? I did. I don't remember disabling archive mode. Seems like there would be a flag to do that, or a flag to only turn that on, logically speaking. But I did not. I couldn't. So I was having problems on the Ethereum testnet. I was having problems getting Aragons. I think I eventually got it synced, but then I started getting slash because something wasn't working. Eventually, I got them running, but And then maybe because I took them offline for a while too, just to practice. Yeah, here we go. Geth, Aragon, Prism Light. So I started off with Aragon and Prism, and they were super hard to, it was my first time doing it. So I'm sure it'd be easier if I did it today, but it was my first time trying all the putting together a validator. And Guerrero is a mess anyways. It's not really their fault. It's like Ethereum's just in chaos because of the fork and all this stuff. So I tried with them first, and it just seemed way like, I was like, why is this stuff not working? I keep getting problems over and over. And then once I learned everything, I was like, all right, I'm not doing Aragon Prism right now. You know, I just have a bad taste in my mouth right now. So I'll try Geth and Lighthouse just so I get experience with all 4 clients too. Why not? And Geth and Lighthouse, yeah, I think I'm just thinking the blockchain. It was like so much easier. But again, I spent hours and hours and hours and days debugging and trying to figure stuff out. So I don't blame them for that. Is it default? Why would it be default though? I'm not questioning you. I'm just thinking, why would archive mode be default? That seems like that would be the special case because most people are just running a full node, not archive mode. That would be interesting. Yeah, maybe it is. Well, it probably wasn't helping me either because I don't even think that it will sync everything. Well, but I was using checkpoints too. So the speed, that should have sped a lot of it up. But then if I was syncing everything, I guess it didn't matter. Okay. Anyways, yes, Gamma does that great stuff. If you would like to share the stream, I'll be on here for at least 15, 20 more minutes. Yeah. So again, don't go through my pain. If you don't have to go through, if you're having problems, go through some of these links too. They may help you. Let's see what else is interesting. Let me go back to here. So signing stuff, the key management. I mean, again, I'm a security guy. I understand encryption, I understand all this stuff, but even the key management thing, I was like, it took me a while to understand what deposit JSON was for and what each of the nodes JSON were for and why you need to upload it and like how that transaction works. There's a lot to it. There really is. So if you're a nerd, you can nerd down on this stuff. If you're not, you might need to wait till we figure it out some more. So long-term commitment, yeah, that's up in the air too. Shanghai commitment, or Shanghai is fork going to have before it, after it. How we're going to handle it, I think Richard's talked about. It's not going to delay anything, at least, I think he said. So early adopter risks, cut out bugs, may result in slashing. So validator checklist. Yeah, let's check that out. So again, this is not like how to do validator. This is AMA, where I'm clicking around and I'm just like giving you nuance in what I've learned and all the different stuff and answering your questions, obviously. So it talks about hard drive. Obviously, you got to run the 2 clients now. Yeah, this is good. So kudos to the PulseChain devs. They put up some good documentation. It doesn't have everything. That every once in a while there's something missing. Actually, I put a merge request in just to update documentation on a broken Ethereum link. I think on the GoPulse repo. Not a big deal. Not a code change or anything. Just like a documentation deal. And they talk about just about everything except some things are kind of skipping around. But very impressive documentation. Very, very good. So kudos to them. I'm glad we spent some time doing this. Yeah, make sure your time. So this should work by default. I didn't have any problems. So it says for Ubuntu 2024, this should be the same for 22.04 as well. It was already finished when I set it up on AWS, when I spun up my EC2 instance for Ubuntu 22.04. This was fine. So I checked it. Let's see, I did that and checked it. So you shouldn't have to do anything on that. But if you do other operating systems or other setups, you might have to. And then some of this is informative and some of it's like, go click on this and learn. So not saying this, that doesn't give you good documentation too, but some of it's kind of like, okay, what flags do I need to run? And that's when Gamma's documentation came and helped. So shout out to him too. Because I did with Geth on the testnet, I had figured out a lot of flags. I had figured out how to run services and all that stuff. And but here they don't talk about that, or I couldn't find it at least. So that was like one thing that we'll slow you down a little bit. You kind of got, but then, gamma for the win. Aragon Pulse. Yeah, like I said, most of it's like, just go read the official docs, which it'd be nice if they like actually showed you the commands or just the quick start and stuff. Lighthouse. Yeah, so Lighthouse, they do a little bit more. They tell you how to do the validator stuff. That was helpful. You got to know how to tell it which network you're on. That's important, especially where you're PulseChain /testnet /v3 for Lighthouse. And I think Geth was dashes instead of underscores. So you keep pressing buttons. You're like, oh, what's wrong? It's not working. And you're like, oh, I forgot the characters. Just like dumb stuff like that you'll run into. And then Prism, I haven't looked at this one. Yeah, the same. So points of documentation, tells you about security a little bit. I've joined my consensus client's Discord server. Oh, to ask questions, I guess? I don't think you need to tell. So I was saying before, the Gurley is such a mess because you literally got to join their Discord and run this command to get them to, you have to sign something. I forget what I did, but it was like, it took me forever to figure out how to get up just to get my validator on the network and approved. And plus the Launchpad, it was just like, man, you guys I think we're just in like a bad timing they just haven't got all their ducks in a row because of the fork. It can't be the same way, in 6 months from now. Like, it's got to be easier to do testnet stuff on Ethereum. But who's going to be using Ethereum in 6 months from now, right? PulseChain.com. Yeah, you got to set up JWT stuff. I showed you, Gamma talks about that as well. Just for secure communication between the clients. I believe that's what that one does. It's been a few weeks since I really dove into this, but and then, yeah, probably forgot a lot of stuff too. Beacon node, yeah, that's what, there's certain commands. That's one thing I need to figure out for Geth and Lighthouse is some of the debugging, some of the health check type stuff, because I had all the stuff for Aragon and Prism. I had all the commands. I have like notes for all the commands to figure out, is it synced yet? Is it, does it still need more time and all this stuff? But for the other clients I'm using now, it feels like there's less stuff. Maybe I just haven't figured it out yet. Make sure your node has more than 20 peers. Okay. Yeah. So how do I know that? I think I tried this command earlier and it didn't work. And obviously I replaced your server location with the IP. Actually, is that talking about the external IP address or the internal? Because I use localhost. No, it should work because localhost, I saw port 8545 open. So I don't know why they didn't write localhost there. Maybe they think maybe you're in a VPC and you have clients on different machines and stuff. You got to import the keys. There's a lot to this, I'm telling you. I'm so glad I practiced on Ethereum testnet earlier. I would be lost as all get out right now. Yeah, I haven't set up Grafana yet. I know what it is, but I haven't set it up yet. I haven't set up Prometheus. All that. Simulated the disaster recovery plan, pretty much. VPN. Avoid exposing your validator identity to the network used VPN. It'll be funny if people are actually setting up their own VPN servers to do that. Interesting. Is that like a redirection of like? Yeah, I wish there were some references there. I'd be interested in how that would be used for validators. To prevent against DDoS attacks, maybe, because interesting. Anyways, graffiti, you can just click graffiti flag, personal touch, provost blocked. Oh yeah, you could do that. I remember that. Become a validator. Did I just go through all this stuff? Yeah, so accept this. Actually, I've not read the disclaimer. Let's check that out real quick. Okay, it's just this disclaimer. Okay. PulseChain's official disclaimer, that one. I sacrifice for freedom of speech, so there you go. I don't need anything else. Let's see. Yeah, this is just telling you like set up your execution client, set up your consensus client. You can run more than one validator. as long as you have enough T-Pulse, you can run as many as you have T-Pulse, right? So if you do 10, now you need, what was that, 3.2 mil or 3.2 bill? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Oh, 320 bill. There you go. If you do 1, 32 mil. So, and once you do that, oh yeah, so this is what was missing from like my steps of doing it earlier, was the app to do it, because I know on Ethereum you downloaded the deposit staking app. I knew where to go for that, but I knew it didn't support PulseChain, so I was like, where is it? And then let me just go to GitLab. Sorry, I haven't looked at chat for a minute. I'll look at it for a minute, in a minute. GitLab PulseChain. So I literally went to, I was like, okay, it must be on there must be a repo on here, and it is, yeah, staking deposit client. But you don't see that the entire time until you go to until you go to your validator thing, which I guess it makes sense, but it was just for me, I was like, I had to figure it out on my own. So that may be confusing as well. So they don't give you instructions until you literally get to the end. And then you give them the deposit data. And then once you give them the deposit data, they'll ask you to upload it, or ask you to upload the deposit data. That'll have all your validator keys. And then for each validator key, and so if I had it here, you upload it, I believe you sign each one, or let's see, you send information to the contract, you send the key information to the contract, and then you make the deposit, and then it knows, based on your key and stuff, which validator you are on the network. So then you're good. Then you're ready to get in rotation, and then it takes your deposit as well. So I can't show you because I don't have one to upload here, but so going to the chat. What reason would anyone have to run a validator? Well, you can make fees. It's one, but helps. So 2 reasons: earn fees and help secure the network decentralization, right? Now, a lot of people have been asking how much fees can you earn? A lot of people have been skeptical. Is this just a public service? I'm going to be losing money. I'm going to be breaking even. I think a lot of that depends on the Pulse price. I don't know what it's going to be. I've heard 2%. I've heard a fraction of a percent. I've heard bigger numbers. Somebody let me know, because I haven't heard anything official. I don't know if we even have stats from that yet. Maybe we need to get some testnet stuff going before we can generate stats to actually know. So I hope it's profitable, because that'd be another, could be another income source for people. For me, it's just, I don't even care if it's profitable or not. To me, it's an intellectual challenge too, because, like I said before, it challenged me, and I thought I was pretty good at tech, and I had a lot to learn when I got it the last couple months, figuring out all the validator and how blockchains really work on the server side. So, and, I love this community. I love the products. For me, it's a public service. I don't really care about making money from it. But that's cool too. So I think it depends on the Pulse price, and depends on the percentages that we don't know yet, and the network usage and stuff too, probably factor in. So Michael Light, good to see you, man. They copy and paste all the, only most of it maybe, but it still looks good. I like the dark theme. Okay, the dark theme. Come to the dark side, Dr. Fader. Let's go Pulse. What's up, Pac-Man? What's up, Crypto Truth? They just mean use the VPN to change your WAN IP. Yeah, but that's when I'm confused. They're saying use it, tell the server to connect to the VPN, or telling you to connect to it for privacy. I don't know. I would need to see that scenario play out. Could be another use for a VPN that very few people will use, but it could be. And that is the end of that part. Let's see. Any question, like anyone actually setting this stuff up and have questions? Otherwise, I'll leave you with the cloud stuff for now. like I said, I have a ton more documentation, but I don't know if I want to. Maybe I'll drop one more doc in here because I have a bunch of like little compressed or little like bite-sized deals. Yeah, maybe I'll just like all of this is going in the blog. Maybe I'll just people who tune into the live streams, they can get a piece here. I think I have the key management part good. It looks pretty good to me. So I think I'm comfortable sharing that. So no guarantees of anything. Security is hard, but let me create the PulseChain testnet. It'd be a series of docs apparently until I get everything tidied up and into a blog post. PulseChain testnet key management. Example only. Use at your own risk. No warranties. There's a disclaimer. Disclaimer. I'm gonna put it in the title. I don't know your server situation. I don't know your home situation. So I'm gonna put a disclaimer here because this is just a way to do it. And I'll make it in, I will highlight it. Yeah, I think this is complete. Cool. Got another doc for y'all. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Go. Disclaimer, my head hurts. Yeah, it's pretty brief. I think you'll be all right. So throw this up on the screen. Key management. So Validator, deposit 101. So this tells you, again, this was painfully slow process to understand how this stuff actually works. Funny enough, I didn't think it'd be that interesting, but it actually is. So that explains what the stuff's going on. These are the commands. Yeah, I don't have them like formatted and all pretty stuff, but here are the commands. Basically, I just, as I was going, I documented it, went back, checked it again. So should be pretty close. Give you an example of a strong password. No one use this password. Do not use this password. It is not a secure password anymore. Now that it becomes part of a document. So only an example. And then what to do with your C words, all that stuff. And then, like I said, you can use a disposable VM. I think that's fine. Security people may argue about that. I think if you use a disposable VM, if you're using EC2, spin up a VM, do whatever you want, then terminate it, whatever. For testnet, for mainnet, maybe you want to take more precaution. But for testnet, I think this is okay. It's a testnet doc. So, and this is just like a trick to you can base64 code. So if you have two terminals, you don't want to like do it over if you don't want to transfer it over the network, which you can securely, you can use, secure copy, SSH type stuff. But if you just want to copy and paste it from one server to another without crossing a network boundary, as far as that goes, you can, that's a cool trick. You can zip up the stuff, and only nerds will like this, I guess, but I thought it was useful for when I did it. Got a little console foo for you if you're interested. Apparently people are interested. There are people looking at it. Lots of birds and lemurs and dingoes and wombats. Oh, cute little animals. Want to be validators. I hope that was helpful. So that's what I'll drop today. I'll put this in the title, on the title of the YouTube video too. Let me just put it in before I forget, because I'm going to call it a night soon. Don't worry. Like I said, I do not believe this will be the last AMA. And Friday should be popping. How'd y'all like the thumbnail, by the way? I thought it was pretty cool. Thumbnail video. A little spacey for you. So got this habit of I stopped saying I stopped trying to fill the white space. I've been working on that a little bit to be a better communicator, you know. But I feel myself saying so a lot. I know somebody's gonna be in the chat, talk about that, or the lip smacking or something. However, let's start saying that, bigger words, right? I feel myself saying, replacing old bad habits with new ones. Try not to do that though. So I will put in the title, PulseChain Validator AMA Cloud. What should it be? Cloud specs. Sounds good. Plus validator keys. I feel like I didn't really go over validator keys that much, but staking deposit. Let's say it like that. Staking deposit client. How about that? That's kind of accurate, I think. Good enough for me. Hopefully that was helpful. I've got a ton more content that I will save for the other ones. If you need something specifically, just tell me. I don't mind at all to share with you what I got, but those will be the notes that I'll share with you for now. Hello, lies beneath the truth. Welcome. Crypto Truth, you want a wrench? Yeah. Let me go back to the stream and I will wrench you. Again, get your questions in because I'm hopping off in a second here. I'm getting pretty tired. It's been a day. It's been a day. Just a minute. Go to the chat and go to Crypto Truth. You've been modded, sir. Welcome to the party. Yeah, he's coming on Friday. Set your bells. I haven't created that link yet, but when I do, you can set your bells. Don Chi, when you say cold wallet, you mean MetaMask? Did I say? Oh, in the doc it says cold wallet, cold storage, but no, not really. There, I always think like there is like some way to do that, but no. When I say cold wallet, cold storage, it means something offline, something secured, something could be paper, could be metal, could be a disposable VM-ish, which then you copy down paper, put in a secure place. If you ask me, should use a password manager to keep a private key, to keep your seed words, maybe not on your main computer. Maybe you could do that with a strong master password on another computer that's you don't put on the internet unless you have to, that sort of thing. I don't know. Just write it down. I mean, you guys, I don't like giving advice, security advice like this either, because I don't want to be blamed. Oh, but you said to do it that way. I could imagine you could write it down and keep a backup copy somewhere, store it in a safe place, and find ways to protect it that don't involve just rolling the dice on your main computer that you do all your stuff with. I have a lot of security AMAs, so the last one was fantastic with Ben Dubard. Highly recommend all security AMAs. I think they all have something to offer, but AMA number 6 is recent. It's a pretty good one. So, welcome, Crypto Truth. You're welcome. Wield it with honor, sir. Wield it with honor. All right, everyone. If no more questions, I will hop off. I certainly hope this was useful to you. I've learned a lot over the last couple of months playing with Ethereum testnet and PulseChain testnet, and I have plenty of stuff to share. So if you have specific parts, because I have a lot more exact instructions for a lot of stuff that I'll share on the next ones. But if you have specific questions about certain things, then let me know. And like I said, I'll be putting this content eventually, should make it onto the blog. And that should help a lot of people too. So I said it again, didn't I? Everyone, Scivive and 55555555555. See you Wednesday. Maybe Tuesday. Probably Wednesday. All right. Bye, everyone.